AI will not replace software developers, it will just drastically reduce the number of them. Farmers still exist today, but they exist in drastically fewer numbers than 2 centuries ago. The modern farming machinery and techniques did not replace farmers but made the industry much less labor-intensive. Nowadays, programming is a labor-intensive activity with relative high salaries. AI is introducing the possibility to do this activity that worldwide cost companies billions of dollars in programmers' salaries much more efficiently. In my opinion, this is the goal of companies like OpenAI. They know that they can't remove humans out of the loop because current AI is not able to substitute all human cognitive capabilities that intervene in a software developer daily job, like talking with the client, figuring out what he wants and translating it to functional requirements. But nonetheless, they think they have a clear shot to make programming a non-labor-intensive activity like farming is today. Of course, this is a compelling multi-billion business opportunity that is attracting increasing capital from the tech and the financial sectors. Developers will just be actually making apps and tech instead of spending time with the minute conventions of manual codewriting. Same thing has happened already with frameworks libraries. This is no different. Innovation is only going to speed up and greater things will be able to be accomplished with less effort. Thought workers are still going to be valued as they always have. AI will not replace software developers. It will just drastically reduce the number of them. So, AI will replace some software developers. Maybe most. Demand for farmers has a natural limit proportional to population food demand, whereas there is no shortage of software development demand. From my anecdotal experience in engineering, we haven't even scratched the surface of problems that can be solved by software. An increase in productivity will increase the avenues for profitable software development before decreases the job count. Your logic doesn't even make sense, tbh. If it drastically reduces the number of them, it's essentially replacing the majority of them. So saying, well, like 10 of you may still have jobs in this field isn't the slam dunk argument against AI job replacement that you seem to think it is. Also, comparing software development to farming is a bit of a stretch. The two industries are nothing alike, and there's nothing that indicates that what happens to one will happen to the other as well. What you describe is exactly replacing the workers. When people say I will replace X, they don't mean there won't be X ever again, but that the numbers will shrink significantly. AI will give us more powerful tools to manage software complexity, find bugs, identify edge cases, and find unintended dependencies. It will also result in the creation of new programming languages. And no, clueless people will not be able to type in a poorly thought-out text prompt and get great software. Design of complex systems is still complex and difficult. We have about 30 of the qualified engineers we need in the industry. My hope is AI forces out the fakers and wannabes and allows companies that need custom software to more readily roll their own. Same for writers, lawyers, etc. Basically anything using language just entered its own industrial revolution. I assume Netflix will eventually be dumping AI-generated programming on its stream, and Sirius will do the same. This is not a good thing, Imho. Man, what is with people wanting absolute dependency on AI? This is it. This is the post that is so stupid I'm blocking this entire sub from my home list. Or it will mean the same number of software developers can write a lot more software. The demand for food is relatively fixed and elastic. So more productivity leads for the most part to fewer farmers rather than more food. That hasn't been the case for software with past productivity improvements. Yes, I suspect you are exactly right. This is how it will play out with many jobs. AI doesn't automate jobs. It automates some tasks within jobs. Javin's paradox implies that, as long as humans are better than AI at something, the market will find a way to use that resource, but at a lowered price. Man, this is really going to fuck up most of our lives for a while. I'm excited, scared, hopeful and sad when I think about this. It's a weird combination of emotions. How will it reduce the number? Oh right, by replacing them. I don't know if we will ever need software in the form of dozens of applications. Instead of looking using apps, you will be using AI. Answer: they have been saying this for 60 years with every development of software engineering. Assemblers and compilers are an early form of AI called expert systems. The number of programmers per CPU has been steadily declining over the decades. In mainframe days you had dozens of programmers per mainframe. By the early PC days and the invention of retail software, it declined to less than one programmer per computer. Now will trillions of CPUs in every king of appliance and huge server farms. There are many thousands of CPUs per programmer. I think it'll just be another tool to leverage technology. There will always be creative and capable minds driving it, but having the ability to feed larger chunks of information to derive a result will be a force multiplier. You can't completely make the comparison with farmer. There is limit of land that can be farmed, and there is a certain amount of food need to feed humans and animals. Software don't have such limitation. Anybody could be making software as long as there are users for it. I think AI will help developer to be more efficient in the short term. Middle term, AI will help regular folks to make software with no code solution. Long term, if we get AGI, then it is game over for SWE, but every other job we know too. I want a software developer to make about the same as a burger flipper. Minimum wage for everyone. One difference between farming and programming is the amount of appetite. With programming, there will always be an appetite for more integrate and advanced programs. With farming, though, the limit is on calories needed by people and livestock. I expect programming will not be reduced considerably until it hits the limits of hardware and imagination. This is wrong, emo. An enormous number of companies can't make software to compete with big tech. Software engineers who are more efficient could feasibly be hired across small, medium-sized businesses. And throw in nonprofits and government too. They all struggle to deliver services as good as big tech. This will dramatically reduce the number of them in big tech companies, but unleash many more across an economy who views software as magic and too expensive. Operators are not longer a job. How do we get along without them? Lol, no. No AI is going to be able to figure out the business rules I get. Well, Microsoft just replaced 10,000 people with AI and it's only just started. I can't wait until we don't have to deal with YAML config files anymore or having AI check requirements or configurations. Something like ChatGPT would also be good for a lot of documentation and design docs. I can imagine writing and checking test cases would help. There is definitely a lot of repetitive stuff that can't be automated. Us techies have automated a lot of people out of their jobs, so we shouldn't be surprised that our job will change too. I'm a software developer. I'm not afraid of AI taking my job. I've seen what it can do. It's helpful, but it can't do anything that can't also be achieved with a few min on Google. When it does get better and starts replacing programming jobs, literally all jobs except top engineering or arts jobs will be replaced at the same time. Some form of universal basic income will be created, or we will all live in poverty. I hope for the first, but we live in a world of greedy idiots, so who knows?